This regular meeting of the Detroit Lakes City Council is called to order. At this time, I'd like to invite all of you to please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is approval of the regular agenda. And I know
Yes.
Alderman Stearns has one addition.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add item 10B to the Public Utilities Commission, recognition of awards.
Are there any other items that any of the council members wish to add or deduct from the regular agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the regular agenda with the one addition.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the regular agenda. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. The consent agenda is before the council, and all items with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered separately in its normal sequence on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience or any member of the council that wishes to either remove or add an item to the consent agenda? I would entertain a motion for approval.
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt the consent agenda as printed. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. The minutes of the regular city council meeting, which was held on August 12th, 2025, are before the council. Is there anyone in the audience or any member of the council that wishes to make any changes to the minutes? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the August 12th meeting.
So moved. Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting held August 12th, 2025. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. I see only one name on our public comment list this evening. Larry Remen wishes to address the council. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor Brink and members of the City Council. I would like to formally make the council aware and register my objection to the fact that I'm being forced out of my position with the city in a discriminatory manner based on my age. At today's council meeting, you will be voting on the dissolution of my job, the position of Community Development Director and City Planner. This is being done regardless of and despite my objections. Based on this action, in addition to a pattern of comments made over the past 2 years, and unequal treatment between myself and younger employees, I am being discriminated against based on my age. This is in violation of federal and state anti-discrimination law. I have given exemplary and profitable service to the city for 35 years. In that time, I have obtained over $10.5 million in direct grants to the city and over $9.2 million in direct loans for infrastructure projects, in addition to attracting over 50 new businesses to town, over 40 business expansions, over 30 housing projects, and in the last month alone negotiated a nearly $1 million business deal for the city. In addition, I have spearheaded a dramatic expansion of the city through 86 annexations, including Long Lake and Detroit Lake, significantly expanding the geographic size, population, property value, and tax base of the city. The elimination of the Community Development Director position was effectuated via a swapping of the Planning Department budget in the August 21st Budget Committee meeting, differing from the one seen by the Budget Committee during the August 7th meeting. The August 7th meeting left the position of Community Development Director intact, keeping my position in place until my planned retirement at age 70 at the end of 2028 is in the best interest of the city and is a cost-effective, equitable, and fair solution.
Okay, thank you, Larry. And that brings us to the Community Development Committee, and I would call on Chairwoman Spry.
Thank you. Item 5A is a discussion regarding the fee schedule. The fee schedule that was provided to us were those areas that were relative to community development. And we don't have any recommended changes. We had kind of a robust discussion around short-term rental and the registration fee of $350. Our ordinance states that we can have up to 100 short-term rentals. Currently, we have about 30 registered. Throughout that conversation, none of us felt that we needed to make any changes to that particular item, nor any others. So that's as much conversation as we had.
Okay, so no action tonight.
Action.
Go ahead, Wendy.
All right. I apologize. Consideration to establishing a policy regarding prayer before city council meetings. In our packets is a recommended draft policy for implementing a decision by the council to have prayer prior to our meetings. Again, we had a robust discussion around those items. Everyone, well, I think it was just half of the committee was there. But on the whole, we agreed that those policy items seem to make sense in terms of mitigating any possible risk or liability to the city. Concerns were raised, maybe some of it might be perceived as divisive, but I think overall, the policy seemed to indicate that, you know, it was pretty fair and a lot of thought went into it. There was a recommendation by one of the council members for an addition, but ultimately, the group decided that we would move forward with the policy as it stands and recognizing we can make amendments to it moving forward based on how things go. So it was the committee's decision to adopt the policy.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to adopt the policy regarding prayer before the city council meetings. Is there a discussion on the motion?
Your Honor, I'd like to make a statement if I could.
Craig, go ahead.
So I'm just going to read a statement, and it explains my thoughts. While prayer is very important, it is a very important part of my personal life, I no longer feel that we should pass a policy regarding prayer at city council meetings. When we voted on this earlier this spring, I was new to the council and hadn't had the opportunity to thoroughly think through all the implications. Since then, I've had the time to reflect and have spoken with my lead pastor as well as other pastors in our community. Through those conversations, it's become clear that incorporating prayer into our public meetings can become complicated and potentially divisive. We serve a diverse community with a range of beliefs, and I believe it's most respectful and inclusive to keep our government spaces neutral. I fully support the right of individuals to pray. I will continue to do so on my own, but I no longer feel that formal prayer at the start of a council meeting is the right path forward.
Okay, Craig. Is there any other comments that anyone on the council wishes to make? Ron?
I too have been thinking about our prayer policy, and I do support prayer. When our faith is weak in our country is also weak. When our faith is strong, our country is strong. I do support prayer at our council meetings.
Okay, are there further comments? If not, we'll call the vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna have to do a roll call because
Can I clarify something, Mayor?
Yeah.
If we vote in the negative to the policy, what happens to us going forward? Because this council voted to do prayer. So if we vote to the negative of the policy, how do we do this?
I'm going to refer this to the city attorney.
All right, remember what this proposal or this motion is to adopt this policy, okay? I have done my best in drafting the policy, which I believe would mitigate the potential risks for the city in engaging in invocations. I don't claim that it's perfect, and I don't claim that following the policy will absolutely prevent some claims or controversy. But I believe that if the council wishes to engage in the practice of having invocations, we are a lot better off with a policy than we are without. And the council is free to amend this policy. The council is free to not adopt this policy. If the council votes to not adopt this policy, the council would have the right to tell me to go back to school and perhaps make some changes to it and bring it back before the council. Could certainly do that. So by voting on this motion, you aren't voting about whether or not the council is going to have invocations. You are voting on whether this is the policy that should be implemented in order to do those invocations. If this policy is rejected, then the council would be free to make a motion. If you felt that we shouldn't do this at all, as I understand Alderman Caulfield now does, a motion could be made to simply rescind the decision from several months ago, I can't remember, to not, the motion was to have invocations. A motion could be made to not have invocations, and that could also be put to a vote, but that is separate from this vote.
Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
Okay, with that explanation, is there anyone else who wants to make any comments before I recall the vote?
Well, I'm just going to comment. I was not here when the vote was taken to implement or allow prayer at our city council meetings. And I think that if we do, we need a policy in place. And I think this is probably, Charlie did his due diligence. I think this policy helps to mitigate, gives some clarity on the process. So I just hope, council, if you vote in the negative to this policy, then you need to be ready to vote on something else, because we can't just say we're going to do prayer and just not have something and some process in place and some guide rails in doing it. I would agree with Councilman Caulfield. I'm not in favor of putting that into this prayer into our city council meetings, but that's not the decision, that's not what we're voting on at this time.
Okay, I'm going to do a roll call. Sean?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
Matt?
No.
Jackie?
Yes to this policy.
Ron?
Yes.
Wendy?
No.
Aaron?
No.
Craig?
No.
So the motion fails 5-3. Is there anyone else that wishes to make another motion or to rescind the original motion at this time?
So I will make a motion to rescind the motion of having prayer at the city council meetings.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has now been made and seconded to rescind the original motion that was adopted by the council to have an invocation prior to the council meetings. Further discussion by the council? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote, and I'll start with Craig this time.
Yes.
So you're voting yes to rescind the,
Rescind it.
yeah, Aaron?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Ron?
No.
Jackie?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Sean?
No.
So the motion carries and the original motion is rescinded. Thank you. But that brings us to 5C, Wendy.
Item 5C is consideration to a resolution approving the final plat of Linview Estates First Edition, 865 Shorewood Drive. And I understand there's some additional work and questions that need to be answered, and so I would move to table that item.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to table. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item 5D is consideration to a resolution authorizing an application for the state BDPI grant, and I will hand this over to Larry to share with the council.
This is a grant application for the Tower Road Industrial Park. The total project cost is $3.8 million. The BDPI grant request is about $1.2 million. We would also be looking at some federal money possibly, and a grant application is going to be made in the future for $2.3 million in federal aid for that project. However, if that is not awarded, the council would need to then, at some future date, if we accept the state grant, bond for the other $2.3 million in costs for the industrial park. It sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but it's not going to get any cheaper to build industrial parks. So I would urge the council to vote in favor of applying for the $1.2 million state grant.
Thank you. Our committee did discuss this with Mr. Remen at our committee meeting yesterday, and we agreed that we would move to authorize the resolution for the application for the grant.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to authorize the city to make an application for the state BDPI grant. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Anything else?
Nothing else, thank you.
So we'll move to the Public Works Committee, Chairman Zeman.
Okay, under Public Works, we also had discussion with our committee as regards fees. We did discuss about a few things, but nothing was finalized, and we'll move until next month's meeting. Going on to item B, consideration to a resolution approving plans and specifications and an order advertisement for bids for the Linview Estate Street and Utility Project, and I'll call on John Pratt for an update on that.
Mayor and Council, this is just the routine next step in this project. Again, this is the Linview subdivision. It's about a 10-lot subdivision just off of Shorewood Drive. We're just about wrapped up with design and looking for council's approval of plans and authorizing us to advertise for bids. We would plan to bring those bids back before the council at the October council meeting.
The committee reviewed this, and I so moved that we go ahead and put this item out to bid.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt a resolution approving plans and specifications and ordering the advertisement for bids for the Linview Estates Street and Utility Improvement Project. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next item is C. I'm going to call on the acceptance of John Pratt's monthly engineering report.
Mayor and council, plenty of things going on here yet, and we'll actually have a pretty busy fall, but just a little overview of what we've got happening here yet. First two items on the report, a street rehabilitation project from last year, which included Willow Springs. We're effectively going through the closeout phase on that, with the exception that we did go out and do some corrective turf restoration out in the Willow Springs area here recently to address some deficiencies in that. Southwood Shore Estates Phase 1, that project is now underway. The contractor's got probably 80 or 90% of the site grading completed. They're working on installing a dewatering system and plan to start utility construction on that next Monday. And that'll last for several weeks. I would point out we're going to have a street closure on South Shore Drive starting next Monday, lasting for about a week, where we need to close a portion of South Shore Drive, right, essentially at the boat access area. So we'll have some signs up, but folks are going to have to find different ways around the lake for next week. The water tower project, not a ton to report. They finished up the steel fabrication phase on the ground, and we've been waiting for the coating crew to show up. That crew's supposed to be on site here tomorrow, and they'll start with coating the exterior of the tank and getting the logo and graphic and all that stuff put on the tank, and then I would imagine we'll be suspending work for the season on that and picking things back up in the spring. So you won't see that new bowl hoisted up until sometime early next spring. Haug has started work on the Heartland State Trail Trailhead project. This is a project located out by Country Inn and Suites. It'll be a small parking lot with some EV charging capabilities and some park amenities like a shelter and bike racks and things like that. So that work is underway, probably take the bulk of the fall here to get that wrapped up. Forest Street, we're winding down on that one. All the work is substantially complete. Really what we have left there is just some restoration and wear course paving to happen. I would expect that'll happen by the end of September, and then we'll have that street fully reopened. Westlake Drive Phase 3, including the beach project. Those plans for the core project or the roadway project are in with MnDOT District 4 for review. We're supposed to be getting those back tomorrow morning, and then we'll be sending them down to MnDOT Central Office for a final review and approval, which sort of sets us up to be able to bid that project sometime in November. Likewise, we're zeroing in on the final design for the beach portion of the project. We have a few loose ends there that we're still working through. But again, in another month to a month and a half, I hope to have those completed so that we can get both these out for bidding sometime in November. DMR Legacy Grant, again, is kind of a series of projects out at the mountain that are using those grant dollars that were awarded to the city and to DMRA. The parking lot work is complete. The new Nordic ski trail loop has been completed. The snowmaking along that Nordic trail is done. Some bike trails that were part of that project, those are complete, and really the bulk of what's left has to do with a tree house that was a part of that project, and that'll be ongoing here for a bit yet. Shorewood Drive street improvements, contractor installed the sewer and water component to that project. We had a short extension from White Clover Beach over to the Linview Estates project, and that is done. The week of September 22nd, the contractor is scheduled to come in and begin the full-depth reclamation on the balance of the roadway. So most of that should be wrapped up by early October, I would say, but we're kind of just in a holding pattern right now. Nothing much to report on the Highway 10 East Shore Drive intersection study. There was a public input meeting held here at City Hall on August 14th. We've got another meeting scheduled with MnDOT and some other stakeholders here, I think next week, and looking to bring that study to a conclusion. Whatever the recommendation ends up being for that intersection, that'll be completed with a larger project on Highway 10 between Detroit Lakes and Frazee that's scheduled for 2029. Right now, the two prevailing options that are out there involve various forms of a J-turn, kind of a half J-turn versus a full J-turn, but in either case, there would be some level of a J-turn going in at that intersection. Moving on, 270th Avenue, we're putting that on the back burner until this winter, with the idea that we'll get design done this winter and bid that out for a spring construction project. Linview Estates, I think we already covered that tonight. We're wrapping that up and going to bid for it. So, any questions?
Any questions for John? Did you say Forest was gonna have the final wear layer put on it this year?
It will have the final wear course this year, and the reason is, Mayor, is normally we would leave that off, but we need that road for detour for Westlake Drive next spring right away.
Okay, Ron, we need to do a motion to approve.
Okay, and our city engineer has been very busy this past year with a lot of street projects as well as planning for next year's projects, and I move that we go ahead and approve his project status report.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the city engineer's monthly project status report. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Anything further, Ron?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll move to the Finance Committee, and Alderman Stearns, are you taking that?
Yeah,
one?
so
Okay.
Chairman Boki had prior obligations this afternoon, so I stepped in and took over that. So we have item 7A, which was a discussion with the Tourism Bureau about adding a position. We had Mark Bjerke come and speak to the Finance Committee. There was, they're looking for like kind of a fractional position. It would not be a full-time position. And also the Tourism Bureau doesn't hire people, so trying to figure out how that would be structured and how it could happen. So, like I say, it was a discussion at that time. We didn't take any action, so there's nothing for the council this evening. We also had item 7B, discussion regarding the fee schedule. There were a couple of items that we talked about, but nothing formal at this time, so maybe next month. We have item 7C, though, consideration to a resolution, and this is regarding the preliminary budget and tax levy collected in 2026. Kelsey, did you want to speak on it, or do you want us to just kind of roll forward on it?
Mayor and council, it's basically we've been reviewing at our budget meetings. That preliminary levy represents a 6.46% preliminary levy increase. Again, the preliminary levy can be lowered but can't be increased before we set the final levy in December. And then the resolution establishes our truth and taxation hearing for December 9th at 6:01 PM.
Okay. So the full amount is item 7C, consideration to a resolution establishing the preliminary budget and tax levy collected in 2026 and designating December 9, 2025 at 6:01 PM as the date for public comment on the budget and proposed levy. As I mentioned, Finance Committee discussed. We recommend approval, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt a resolution establishing the preliminary budget and tax levy collected in 2026 and designated December 9th, 2025 at 6:01 as the date for public comment on the budget and proposed levy. Discussion on the motion?
Well, I just want to mention that having that 6.46 levy rate is a very good rate, and comparing against 11 other cities in our area, we're the next to the bottom as far as having a very low rate. So I'm pleased that the council came up with their budget meetings to have this rate.
Further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
We also have item 7D, consideration to a resolution granting city council consent for taxes payable in 2026 for HRA levy. I'll let Kelsey get into the details on this one too, so throwing them your way.
Mayor and council, that's about it. We've been doing 120,000 the last few years. Again, it requires council approval for them to be able to do that HRA levy. And if you look on your tax statements, you'll actually see a separate line item for city HRA levy. That's what that is.
All right, thank you. So we have item 7D, as I mentioned, Finance Committee discussed. We recommend approval, and I so move.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt a resolution granting city council consent for taxes payable in 2026 for the HRA levy. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
All right, next on the list is item 7E. There's a consideration to a resolution amending the bylaws of the Detroit Lakes Fire Department Relief Association to provide an additional $1,700 per year for a lump sum pension of $14,200 for each year effective April 1, 2026. Finance Committee discussed, felt that the efforts provided by the services by the Detroit Lakes Fire Department definitely warrants that, and so we recommend approval, and I so move.
Second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt a resolution amending the bylaws of the Detroit Lakes Fire Department Relief Association, providing for an additional $1,700 a year for a lump sum pension of $14,200 for each year, effective April 1, 2026. Is there a discussion on the motion?
One question I have, is this an annual increase?
I'm trying to figure out your question. So it increases the amount per year of benefit, but this doesn't automatically increase every year going forward. It's a hard at $14,200 $14,200.
Correct, but it seems like in years past, we've also bumped this up though, in whether it would be 22, 23, or 24, I don't recall.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
yep. Just about annually it's reviewed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Well, I'd like to say a little bit about the fire department. We need 30 volunteers, and I believe right now we're at 27, 28. And I know that we're going to have some retirements coming up. So if somebody's out there listening on TV here, we need volunteers, and we do have some good incentives, and one is this retirement plan that we have. So if you've ever thought about being a fireman, please come in and apply for it. They could use you.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries.
All right, next, item 7F. Consideration authorizing staff to work with McGuff to draft a contract for the pavilion construction manager at risk services role during the construction of the pavilion. So Finance Committee discussed this, the ability for the city to enter into a contract. We recommend approval, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to authorize the staff to work with McGuff to draft a contract for the pavilion construction manager at risk services. Discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Last item on the agenda for this is item 7G, consideration to the first reading of ordinance 545, amending city code section 204.10. I'll have Kelsey discuss this in a little bit more detail.
Mayor and council, in your packet is the ordinance. Basically, what this is doing is eliminating that city planner position that is included in our administrative code. We haven't used that title for quite a long time. We effectively have a community development director role that serves that purpose. So as was discussed at the budget meetings was effectively eliminating that city planner, that community development director role, and then splitting the position into two separate job descriptions of a planning and zoning director and economic development director. So this is the first step that needs to take place, is to amend the administrative code. This is the first reading, and then the second reading would be subsequent to this. I want to point out, there was a handout that had a revised ordinance amendment, which changed the effective date from effective upon publication to effective January 1 of 2026.
Okay,
All right. So I don't think I made a motion on it, so I have
need a motion.
consideration of the first reading of ordinance 545, amending city code section 204.10. Finance Committee discussed and recommend approval, and I so move.
Second it.
motion's been made and seconded to give first reading of ordinance 545, amending city code section 204.10. Discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries, and first reading is given for ordinance 545. Is there anything else? Mike,
Nothing else, Your Honor.
do you think my voice sounds worse than JFK Jr.?
No.
You have a ways to
Close.
go.
Not quite as bad, okay. All right, we'll move on to the Public Safety Committee. Chairman Dahlman.
Thank you, Your Honor. 8A is discussion regarding the fee schedule for police department tickets and for fire calls for the fire department. We all agreed we're probably gonna keep everything the way it is. No changes on that. And then 8B is discussion regarding e-bikes and speed limits. These e-bikes are popping up all over the place, and some of them can go 25 miles an hour. And we got some concerns regarding Westlake Drive, regarding people on those bike trails going 25, 30 miles an hour with families trying to walk on the same trails. So we're just in discussion for that right now. And then I would like to thank Chief Todd and Chief Hansen for all the hours that the fire department and the law enforcement has put in for this community this summer. Now it's some time for, hopefully, you guys can relax a little bit, but we appreciate your service and thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to the Liquor Gambling Control Committee.
All right, this one's a little bit easier than the finance one. Liquor and Gambling Control Committee, all we had on our agenda item was the discussion regarding the fee schedule. So we had a couple of items, but no formal action at this time.
Okay, we'll move on then to the Public Utilities and Alderman Stearns.
Okay, item 10A, we have consideration to authorize staff to work with Journey Construction to negotiate the contract for construction manager at risk for the E2Q equalization project. There are some equalization tanks which I can't explain, but but the recommendation of the Public Utilities Commission met on this. This was actually approved at a prior special meeting earlier in August. So it wasn't voted on this morning, but it was approved earlier. But Public Utilities recommends approval, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to authorize staff to work with Journey Construction, negotiating the contract for construction manager at risk for the E2Q equalization project. Discussion on the motion?
Excuse me. I would love to know a little more about the project,
Vernell?
Vernell, do you want to
Yeah, I can
give
do
us a
that.
brief
So
overview?
earlier this year, we were awarded a $1.5 million climate resiliency grant from the Minnesota Pollution Control. And what this is a tank that'll, when we get a lot of rain, we'll get inflow and infiltration that comes into the sanitary sewer and ultimately comes into the plant. That takes a tremendous amount of hydraulic capacity away from treating wastewater. So this equalization basin will go in front of the head end of the plant. When we get those big rain events, it'll store that water back, and then we can feed that in a more steady state into the membrane facility that we have today. And it'll actually increase the efficiency of the MBR facility itself, but really takes, when we get those 3 or 4 inch rain, it really pounds us on the inflow. So it's gonna buy us some more capacity on the back end of this plant. And, got a $1.5 million grant to help support the project, so that helps.
I appreciate that. That's some pretty big dollars. So it's an additional basin to store water so that it's not taxing the other.
To store
projects.
wastewater, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
So item 10B, this is a chance for me to toot the horn of the Public Utilities Commission. At the MMUA annual meeting, which is the Minnesota Municipal Utilities Association meeting, both Madeline Suki and Vernell Roberts were recognized with awards. So Madeline, who was a former council member, who's been on public utilities, I think, since at least 2017. She was recognized, because she started out as council liaison, but then just became a Public Utilities Commission member after she left the council. But she was recognized for actively advocating for the public power at legislative rallies in both St. Paul and in D.C. She's been on the Missouri River Energy Services as an ambassador, and just recognized for being very involved and very engaged. So very happy for her and well-deserved, because I can tell you she does not turn down an invitation to go and participate in activities and speak on behalf of the Detroit Lakes Public Utilities. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So it's great and well-deserved. The second one is our esteemed General Manager, Vernell Roberts. He received the 2025 President's Award, and that is for those who have, represent the municipal utility industry and do so in an exemplary fashion. And so he has done a great job, not just within the state of Minnesota and in Detroit Lakes. He is on boards outside of our area, does a lot of wonderful things. Again, I can't tell you how lucky we are to have him here. Really appreciate it. And he goes out and legislates as well in St. Paul and DC. He can talk the talk, both if wastewater and everything else, so it's great. And then go talk to politicians after talking wastewater. So anyways, so I just want to recognize those two for receiving awards because they're very well deserved.
All right, thank you, Mike. Some information and announcements. The city council work session is going to occur on Tuesday, September 23rd, at 5 p.m. The Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities Fall Conference is scheduled for November 13th and 14th in Grand Rapids, and you can let Carrie know if you'd like to attend. An open house for the City Park and Pavilion project will be held at the Pavilion on October 7th from 5 to 7 p.m. Kelsey, do you want to expand on what that'll kind of involve for the public?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, so we had a open house about a month ago. Basically, now the consultant's taking that feedback, the survey feedback that we also had online, and are going to propose some kind of schematic concepts for the city park master plan, and also a little bit for how the pavilion would lay out in there. So, yep, 5 to 7 on the 7th.
Okay, before I continue, I guess I skipped over anything that the city staff might have tonight.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Pavilion farewell celebration will be held on Saturday, October 11th at the Pavilion. And I don't know if you have any more details on that, Kelsey?
Becky Mitchell at Becker County Museum's working on that event. I think you're going to see something come out very soon. You'll see information on that as far as the schedule, so.
Sure, thank you. The balance of the joint governance meeting dates are on the agenda. The balance of the 2025 city council meeting dates are on the agenda. And the 2026 city council meeting dates are listed for next year. Note that on November 10th, we'll be having our city council meeting on November 10th, which is Monday, because, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
because of the holiday.
all right.
Mayor, if you so wish, there is one more person here for public comment.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Doug?
So for our minutes, will you state your name and address for our minutes, sir? You can come right up to the podium, yep.
Douglas Branchard, 2435 Long Lake Road, Detroit
Okay.
Lakes, Minnesota.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I guess there was a letter that was sent out to me in July when I was gone. I was home earlier that 1 week in July, and then I've been gone since. And when I got home, there was a notice on the door that everything in my yard has to be removed. And I've been removing stuff out of the property, but every time I move it to my other property, it gets stolen. And I reported to the Becker County Sheriff. I've had 7 incidents. So every time anything I move, like last year, my 36-foot camper got stolen. Just walked right in, hooked up, and left. And then they break into the vans where I put stuff in. The last break-in was here a week and a half ago, which they stole about $6,000 worth of stuff. So as I'm moving stuff out of my home out there, I'm constantly putting up with thieves that are stealing it. So the only thing I can think of is that we build a Quonset, but while I was gone, somebody made a complaint. You guys had a hearing. I didn't get the paperwork, so I couldn't address this when I should have. Priscilla didn't call me. I thought that she would have if there would have been a problem, but I didn't get a call. If I would have got a call, I could have probably got home. I drive over the road for a company. I got dedicated routes, and I think I know where I made my mistake. I drove my truck home on the 4th of July, just past that, and changed my oil versus changing it in Fargo. And somebody must have drove by and said, I've been parking my truck there for 18 years, almost 20, along with Roger's truck too, and never had any trouble. But all of a sudden, we got a complaint. You guys had a meeting, and I got a placard of nuisance, and I have to clean everything out by October 6th, which to me is about impossible. I mean, I tried, and I got 2 children living with me now, adults, not children. So their cars are in the front, but they're on the driveway, and 2 are on the side. And I told them they had to move them when I got this, and I talked to Priscilla, but it's up to you guys for an extension or what we're gonna do or however, so I know how to proceed. I mean, I would have been here, if I had got home to get the certified letter. I never got the certified letter, didn't know about the city meeting, didn't know anything about the complaint. Why there's somebody that drives by my house who doesn't even basically live around there and then puts in a complaint. Yes, everything behind the house is nice and neat, it's all in order, it's not bothering or nothing, and like I said, I plan on moving out since, I talked to Kelsey when I entered the city that, I'll straighten the place out, build be a different place and move out of the city. I don't really want to be in the city, to be honest. I've lived there for 39 years, so if you guys can imagine, 39 years that I've organized the stuff at my house, you just boom, and I have, 30 days to try to figure out where all this is supposed to go. I understand it, but, and then if it comes up to the 6th and you remove it, well, then I'll be assessed a huge amount of money, I'm sure, from that. So
So are you gonna be able to accomplish this at some point?
at some point, yes, I can accomplish it, but in the amount of days, I mean, I have a
So
dedicated
so how
road.
many days additionally would you wanna have?
Well, we're hitting on winter too, so I don't know. And I gotta figure out, the sheriff had cameras out there, but the little rascals, they won't come back yet. They'll be back, because every time I stick something in the trailer, or trailers, somehow or another, which I have no idea how they know it's in there, they come and rob it.
Okay, go ahead, Ron.
I make a recommendation that we allow you 60 more days from today to have your place cleaned up and moved out. If not, the city will do it for you.
60 days from today's date,
From today's date.
I guess I can give it a try, that's all I can say,
I'll
because
make that a motion.
All right, is there a second to Ron's motion?
That-
Motion's been made and seconded to allow an additional 6.
Quick comment.
Yeah, sure, yep.
I live on Long Lake Drive. Okay, his house has been there forever. It's never bothered me. And I don't know, but his house was there before all our houses were. And I can see where he's coming from, but I think it's more than fair to give this guy 60 or even 90 more days. He has cleaned it up. I'll give him that. But I can see his point. He was there. That's like me complaining about the airport. The airport was at the place before my house was. His property's been there for years. I know he's got to clean it up, but I think we should give him the due diligence and a little time to do it.
Mayor,
Okay, go ahead, Kelsey.
I don't want to interfere with the motion. Typically on a public comment period, the council by policy usually don't act on those requests because it's not on the agenda. What I would suggest is we put this on the October agenda, and at that point, the council could act on whether to do an extension or not.
So is our meeting before his deadline?
We'll just have to wait till the council meeting. 'Cause I
Well,
don't
that's
remember
my-
the deadline off the top of my head.
His
What,
deadline is October 6th.
Yeah.
so
Put on the September
My
23rd.
concern is though, if we wait until October meeting and we give him 60 days or whatever, then we're gonna be in the snow, then he's gonna say, I can't do because of the weather. That's why if he started now, he'd have nice weather to get stuff done, but,
we do have a work session on the 23rd, if you want to put it on that agenda
okay,
as
let's,
well.
let's put it on the agenda for the 23rd and see what
So
come
is
up
the
with.
motion and seconder, are you gonna withdraw your motion and your
I'll-
second?
I'll withdraw.
And then we'll put it on the 23rd special meeting agenda.
Yes.
It sounds like they're willing to give you a little more time, so,
So should I come here on the 23rd then?
yes.
Okay, I'll be here.
But you should also start,
Oh, I'm
Working on-
moving,
all right, thank you.
trying to get figured out so I can stop the thieves. Because
Okay.
each time they come, they get about the same amount.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The business of this council has come to a conclusion. The meeting's adjourned.